Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. I am your host, Shane, and welcome again to another episode. So, tonight's episode, we will be discussing, or the topic is anxiety and depression. Okay, so some of you that have been following me, and thank you for those that still send the emails and text message. We have moved now to Roku. Okay, so I'm affiliated with the Roku channel, and the channel is the Queen Story. So you can find Coffee Talk now on television, as well as my YouTube channel, and sometimes I'll go live. Okay, so thank you again for coming in. So tonight's topic is anxiety and depression. If you guys been with me when I first started, we had this discussion about anxiety and depression. I believe it might have been one of my first or second episodes with Coffee Talk. So tonight we're going to dip and dive in as much as I can. Maybe I can recap some things that was asked before, asked prior. So what is depression? What exactly is depression? So I do have some footnotes. If you guys have pen and paper, take down some notes. You're more than welcome. And those of you that do have questions, you can email me at emeraldempire330 at gmail.com. Also, those that watch the Roku channel, the Queen Story, my segment, my channel, you can leave messages there if you want to go ahead and give the channel. That'd be wonderful. My Cash App is Shane Moore 888. I believe I'm saying it correct. Anyway, we'll have it down at the bottom of the description. So, depression. Let's get into the topic, okay? So, depression. What is depression? Depression is a condition associated with elevating or lowering one's personal mood, such as depression or bipolar. So that's like, let me break it down into better terms. It's when you're high and low pretty much with whatever life is throwing to you, okay, or whatever you're going through at the time. Sometimes we can be diagnosed with clinical depression. Some was passed on through generations with depression. We also know that not only do adults go through depression, but children go through depression as well. Okay, so there are different causes that can lead to depression. It could be a personality. It could be family trauma. It could be work related. It could be generational. It could be a lifestyle. It could be your physical health. It could be so many things that can trigger your depression. It could be a deadline that you have to meet. I will also stress the fact that I am a nurse, and so sometimes it can be your job, okay? And so there are different ways that we can cope with depression. There are different ways that we can try to at least identify that we have depression. And I say we because I do have I do suffer with depression. Depends on what the season is and what I'm going through. I am not clinically diagnosed, but I have had symptoms of depression. Okay. So what does a depression look like? A depression looks like not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to be around your loved ones, your helpmate, your spouse, your children, not wanting to cook. Sometimes women and men let themselves go mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I say spiritually because sometimes you could be so clinically depressed or physically depressed or mentally depressed where you don't have a to want to get up and at least pray about it. Now, I'm a strong believer in prayer and fasting. I am a strong believer in speaking things into existence to get out of whatever. And I have a press and a rush in me, a willpower that keeps me going whenever I'm going through these things. And so some people, when they suffer from depression, that they find it's difficult to want to get up and pray. Now, some people do not have a faith-based foundation. So they just go through the highs and lows. Some go ahead and get themselves treated. They go to therapy, which is a wonderful thing that we should do. In our community, in the melanated community, it's like a taboo to go outside from help. People feel like they can beat depression, not understanding, overstanding that your ancestors may have dealt with this and didn't deal with it correctly or needed more help. It might have been passed on. Not understanding how to deal with different things that are thrown to you. Life has ups and downs, roller coaster rides, highs and lows. So 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad, 1 minute you do not understand or overstand what you're going through. But that's just the way life is. So if you have depression, you shouldn't feel bad for going through any of these highs and lows. It's just that you should be able to identify your triggers, identify what exactly you're feeling, what you're going through, and get a support team, whether it be therapy or whether it be good friends with sound mind, with clear conversation that can help you. Okay. So different ways that we can cope and get through with depression is we can exercise. Now that's something that, most of us restart. I'll myself will start off with exercise and then I will end and stop it midway. But exercising is very good. Meditation is excellent. Whether you are a jazz person, and meditation can be in the form of listening to music. Meditation can be in the form of just sitting by yourself. Meditation can be reading positive scriptures or novels or books. Just sitting still and quietness is a great form of meditation because you're able to answer or hear your thoughts, and clearing out your mind is a wonderful thing. Also, I say travel. I am one that loves to travel, whether it's locally in the States or out of the States. That could be a great help when it comes down to depression. What are some other things? Changing your eating habits. Maybe you might want to cut back from the carbs or cut back from fruit or too much vegetables or too much, just changing up. Also rearranging your home, rearranging your bedroom. That can be a problem when your colors or your schemes in your home looks the same. It can cause depression. People don't understand how powerful colors are. Okay, so sometimes you might need to brighten up your home because it'll change your day. You might need to change your wardrobe because it'll change your mood. You might need to change your hair color. Not shave, but I shaved. But you might need to just change it up sometimes because we get into routine as people, and then the routine, which we fall out of, and we don't understand that the colors and the way that things are set in place in our homes and our jobs, routine can cause also a depression. Also, loneliness. Now, I want to address loneliness. Now, yes, when you are going through depression, you might feel like no one else is going along or no one else has this issue. It's just you and only you. And I want you to know that you are not alone. It is good to find groups to speak with others because you might find someone that's going through the exact same thing, if not similar. You might have people or coaches or chaplains or ministers or whatever speak with different groups, different officials that can help you while you're going through your depression. Now, loneliness is not a good thing to stay in when you're going through depression because the outcome of being lonely, it can really mess you up mentally. A lot of times when you feel lonely, you just want a companion. Some women or men or might be divorcees or might be single. So a lot of people might want companionship. So, companionship is a different topic. But while you are going through this process of depression, find healthy groups, maybe healthy family members. Don't stay by yourself because it can also lead to suicidal thoughts. Okay. Physical health, lifestyles and events. We know that every day we don't know exactly, like we might plan things out, and I say we because I do it myself. You might plan out your whole day, your whole week, and a shift will take place. Whether you got a flat tire, or your car breaks down, or your children get sick unexpectedly, or you get mandated at work. Anything life event, anything takes place. Okay, so when it comes down to these life events, you have to be prepared. They always say, be ye so ready." But sometimes, we get that bone thrown at us, so we are not prepared, and it can knock us off mentally. The thing about when things like that happen is expected. I look at it from a different view, that when there's a monkey wrench thrown in my plan, maybe God is protecting me, or God is protecting me from something, or it's not meant for me to be in that particular space or mindset at that time. So I've learned to accept when things like that take place. Now, for those of y'all that have a busy schedule, that travel and have companies and the children and things of that nature, yes, find different ways to cope when life events take place. Okay, whether it be sit still until it passes over, pray this thing through, look at the event from all angles. Okay, maybe you may have to adjust your event, meaning whatever it is that was scheduled, whether it's an event or just a daily activity or a daily routine. Okay, so take a look at that. Now, people who have gone through different adversities, or different traumas or hardship, different environments, when it comes down to these things, whether it be unemployment, bereavement, just life traumas, being diagnosed or having depression in this form, you might need to do a more intense or have more intense help, whether it's therapy, whether you have to take medication, because they do have medication for depression. You have to dig a little deeper inside to want to fight against that. Okay, we cannot help the environment in which we grew up, traumas that we have dealt with. We should take these things that we have gone through and use it as a clutch to move forward and to soar higher than high, right? But sometimes people don't have that willpower, that drive inside of them to keep going. You understand? So when it comes down, I'm not a physician. Let me put my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I am a chaplain, so I do counsel. But when you are severely, severely depressed, whether it be these traumas that you dealt with growing up, bereavement, or just hardship in life, I would advise that you go ahead and seek help outside and go ahead and get medicine. Medicine is a form of helping as well. Don't be ashamed, or if you want to keep it private, but go ahead and go ahead and get that done. Whether see a physician, a therapist, if they prescribe something, please take those meds, whether it's psychotropic or whatever level it is. Don't feel ashamed of having to do these things. One thing about depression, I think everyone on this planet, in my mind, have gone through it in one form or another. It doesn't matter if it was light range or heavy range. It's just the way that I believe you go through these life initiations. Now, what you do with the traumas or events, it's up to you. You can either take it and, stay in your depressed mode and be upset and angry at God, and be upset and angry at yourself or your friends or your family, or you could take whatever has taken place, depending on the level, and you could just go ahead and just get certain things done. Okay, so tips for coping with depression. I think I did speak about it. Am I repeating the same thing? No, I'm not repeating. This is live. Matter of fact, this is completely live. So if this sounds like any bloopers, y'all can go ahead and write in the comments. I think you need to go over that. So other tips that you can do with coping with depression is stay in touch with positive people, like I said before. Face your fears. Yes, you have to face your fears. Sometimes it can be very difficult. We have to look at the parts that we might play in there. We have to understand and understand how to look at things from just not our perspective and not through our eyes, but look at the other person's eyes. Don't get into any paraphernalia or any drinking or any gambling or things that's going to hinder your body, that's going to cause you to get into a sinking place even more. Don't do those things. I'm going to say try, because I know sometimes people use those as coping mechanisms. Okay, I cannot judge you. I do not judge, but those are not good to utilize while you're going through these emotional highs and lows, because depression is like a chemical imbalance in your body. 1 minute you're okay, 1 minute you're not. It's like, that's why they have bipolar right next door from it. Okay, try to eat healthy. We do not want to gain extra weight or lose weight. Okay, depends on your body and how you move. Some people gain weight and some people eat. I mean, eat. Some people shop. That's another coping mechanism that people do use. Now, you are the author of your finance, so you'll know whether you're capable to do it or not. Some people overspend. Some people overeat. You don't want to do these things. You want to try to keep a healthy diet while you're going through these things. Okay, so do I have anything? How to tell? Maybe I should have said that at the beginning, but it's okay. How to tell if someone or you might be going through a depression yourself, okay? You might be irritable. You might be angry. You might be impatient. You might be overburdened. You might be over anxious. You might be overwhelmed. You might be fearful. You might be afraid. You might not know how to identify exactly what you're feeling. These are different signs of stress that can lead to depression. Okay, there's many more, but these are some of the ones that I can think that I wrote down, that I can think offhand. Now, like I said, we all of us have felt this one way or another, went through some of whatever I just spoke, irritability, anger, being impatient, wound up, overburdened. We have all felt this, okay? If you work, if you are a parent, being overwhelmed and overburdened, that's just the top of the list. Now, parenting does not come with instructions. It does not, and just parenting alone can cause you to be overwhelmed and overburdened. You're taking care of little people. You're taking care of your home. It can be very strenuous. Okay. So again, we're going to utilize what's out there for us: counseling, coaching, therapy, medicine if needed. Remember these things. And if you have some paper, you can go ahead and jot this down. But these are some of the therapeutic ways to get through this. Now, depression is something that I believe we can all beat or fight against or stay in a ring to fight to get over or get through. But I don't want any of you viewers out there to fall into depression and stay down. You don't want to stay down for so long. And also, while you are going through these things, I am a huge person in journaling or writing down notes. Sometimes I write the notes down wherever, whatever comes to my mind, to help me reflect back and to help me to sit down and think of what's going on, my circumstances, again, and events that's going on around me. Okay, so this coffee talk is, we're going to have weekly discussions of different topics, whether it's entertainment, whether it's music, or whether it's serious talk as this, anxiety and depression. Now we're going to go to the other side. Let's speak about anxiety. Now, the thing about anxiety is I do have anxiety myself. Anxiety looks like a quick panic attack, if that makes sense. Anxiety is a emotion that is just caused at the drop of a sentence. I will say anxiety can be caused by someone scaring you really quick. Anxiety can be caused by, again, unexpected life events, something traumatic, whether loss of a loved one, unemployment, downsizing in your your hours at work, trying to meet deadlines. Those of you that are entrepreneur, it's very difficult to try to build your brand. Not only build your brand, build your company and be backed by capital. You understand and overstand. And some of us have to work, or you're working under your companies. That could be something that can cause anxiety. Now, with anxiety, I use breathing techniques. There are great breathing techniques. There are meditation techniques that you can go ahead and listen to. You can download the apps. If you have an iPhone, you can download Calm. If you have a YouTube station, you can go ahead and download some of the meditation music. Yes, that helps with coping with anxiety. Anxiety also is a chemical imbalance that takes place in your mind, I believe, and in your heart, and all around in your body. Okay, sometimes you might just have difficulty breathing, or grasping for air, or you might cause yourself to have an asthma attack, or you might cause yourself to have a migraine. Anxiety do these things. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child, and we have to also remember that children go through anxiety and depression as well. We do not understand as parents, because each year or each stage, like you have Gen X, you have boomers, you have new millenniums, each century or each timeline, we've all experienced different environments. So if children are experiencing anxiety and depression as adults and as parents, as caregivers, please pay attention to the children that are around you, whether it's neighbors or whether it's your nieces and nephews, grandchildren, because they are going through a tough time as well. Remember 3 years back when we had COVID, and a lot of the children were home. So a lot of the children suffer from some mental disorders, which is anxiety and depression. And I believe some have not gotten out of that form. A lot of things was done online, and they had to quickly adjust to the new world of being online and not in the classroom, and restraining from community. And we have to understand that being in the community, going outside, is very important. So we cannot omit children, and it doesn't have an age on it. I know coworkers of mine who have children as young as 5, 8, 10 to teenagers that are dealing with anxiety, whether it's peer pressure in school, to look good, to have a summer job, to find work, to have more money, to be popular, or just to be in school. You're in school with different nationalities, backgrounds, teachers. And so children can go through their form of depression. We as adults, we're always taught to cope with, especially in our community, we're taught to cope with whatever it is that we go through in life. We're not supposed to address it. We're not supposed to identify it. We're just supposed to cope through, which is not a good thing. So if you know as a adult that you was at one time that age and what you felt, you should be able to go and help your child or neighbor or whoever's around you that's young, that you see, whether it's a church child or someone in your community. Doesn't matter, that you know of and you see the signs of them, because a lot of times these children are committing suicide. Suicide is at its all-time high, and the causes of the starter of anxiety and depression can lead to suicide. Okay, notes in the way that people move and the way that they speak. Please be observant of these things as you go on through your day-to-day life. Now, I'm a firm believer, have a spiritual background in Christianity, so I do believe in fasting and praying, okay, for not only myself, but for my children and others around me. I believe in pressing and moving forward in spite of how I feel, because I know that the outcome is greater. I thank the Most High for that drive in me. But some people might not have that drive. So, you should be able to, those that are pillars in the community, be able to help or assist those that are going through these things. The end result is to never stay down, to keep pressing forward. Okay, so that is it for anxiety and depression. Any questions, you can go ahead and email me at emeraldempire330@gmail.com. Again, I am on Facebook. Shane is my Facebook information. And my YouTube station is still up, Emerald Empire. So if you can, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. This will be uploaded on my Instagram as well as the Roku channel. Please, please, sir, ma'am, go ahead and spread the word. This is a beautiful thing that is taking place. And so we want to go ahead and create a platform that's for us. So again, I'm your host, Shane, and this is tonight's topic of anxiety and depression. Speak to you later. Have a great evening.